right, Cecil, it's Bullard.
Hey.
All right. Thanks for taking time to be with us today. Every month we've been doing a coaching Q&A in our Facebook group, and we're always happy to spend time with you.
I'm happy to be here.
Hey, so you've had a lot of stuff going on this year.
Always something.
Yeah, whether it's health and you guys with your new leadership over here at the Institute.
We're always trying to get better at whatever we do. So, and yeah, I've had a couple of health challenges this year.
Yeah. Well, we're very happy that you're doing well and everything's going well for the Institute. I'm going to follow the instructions of Caroline. She's hearing the echo, which is and a message for anybody listening. I'm so sorry that you're having this problem. But I'm not going to see. She told me to close YouTube, which I did. I just want to make sure it's a good user experience, and it sounds like probably. If y'all don't mind, give me 1 second to read through these settings one more time. And I had a good installation on.
Let's see. That's not any better. Caroline, is this better?
It sounds better to me.
Yeah, and now I'm not hearing it. It's strange. I turned echo cancellation off.
Yeah.
So,
And now I'm echoing, and I turned echo cancellation on. So I'm going to go back and turn it off.
and you sound great to me. So,
Now we're all echoing because I turned it off.
all right.
Unbelievable.
I know. I'm telling you, every single time we do this, something different happens. All right. That sounds really good to me. I'm not echoing and you're not echoing.
Yeah, I turned my echo off.
Okay.
Which means I'm hearing myself echo, but that's okay. I can live with that.
Oh my gosh. Well, we're going to roll with it and see how this goes. I'm sorry, Cecil. We generally, it's Facebook changed allowing third parties how they can live stream into a group.
Mm-hmm.
For the last couple of months, we have had to make changes every single time. So here we are, but look, we're just gonna roll with this and just move on and give everybody a good experience. So the thing is, we've been doing this every month so that most of our clients come to us with a coach, and sometimes how shop owners will move from this coach to this coach, and then sometimes they don't have one, and we just want to give everybody a different perspective and hear from all these different coaches. So let me first ask for our people that are listening, we are monitoring the comments here on YouTube. So if you have any questions for Cecil, if you have any comments about what we talk about, post them here. I can see them right here on the same screen. But really, Cecil, we're just going to have just a casual conversation and talk about some of the just common questions that people have either given to us or we have noticed in the industry that people have for coaches. And we have been great friends with y'all over at the Institute for a really long time. For those that don't know, when Brian and I were shop owners, we took Cecil's classes back in the early 2000, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, something like that. And then re-emerging back into the industry as marketers, really happy to reconnect and build this awesome relationship that we have with the Institute. So super glad to have you. And again, earlier we were talking about, you guys have been doing a lot of leadership updates and changes at this, I was going to say at the Cecil, at the Institute. And then we're really happy that you have done so well with the health things that you've been battling earlier this year. I know the industry poured out an incredible amount of love and prayers on you. So I'm super happy to have you here. And I just want to just give you a chance to say anything, like talk a little bit about the Institute. I mean, that's what we're here to talk about, the Institute, and ask you some questions for shop owners that may be looking for a coach or interested in coaches or just want to hear different perspectives. But is there anything in particular that you want to start off by sharing about the Institute before we jump in?
I think I'm prejudiced. So I'm not sure I can be not prejudiced. The Institute is different, in my opinion, than other coaching companies. I'm going to turn my sound down a little so I don't have to listen to myself. The Institute, we really believe in running a relationship business and building great relationships, not only with our own clients and customers, but for our shops and with their customers. And we believe that's going to be the difference in the future. As the business becomes more and more complicated, which I don't know that anybody could say it isn't. We've certainly gotten, the technology has gotten so complicated now, and we're short technicians in the industry, so techs are getting paid more. We're actually charging more, which is a natural progression of the technology plus an industry that is maturing, if you ask me. Add that to the fact that the private equity since 2020 is really taking a serious look into our business and into our industry and trying to consolidate. We have invested a lot in leadership training, helping shops and shop owners that want to have multiple facilities, and also helping our own single shop owners to build something that has real value for them and their families when they either go to transition to their children or their employees or to sell their business somewhere else. If you look at the industry 10 years ago, the average shop probably sold for 2.5 times EBITDA. Earning. I always get it screwed up, but basically everything before you pay taxes, or excuse me, after taxes, what's left in the pile. Right now it's about 2.8, but we're seeing that number go up because private equity is very interested in our industry. So a well-run business that does well, that profits well, can maybe even get 5 or 6 times. So maybe even double what it was worth 6 years ago. And so we know the industry is going to change. I've been anticipating that for a long time. I think what we're going to see in the next 10 years is going to rival what we've seen in the last 50. Mm-hmm. And so the Institute is here to help our clients, number one, understand how to run their business well and be profitable, and then also set themselves up for future success when they decide to transition out of their company, however they want to do that. And I would tell you that whether you're a 65-year-old that owns a shop and you're getting towards the end and you're saying, man, I'm tired and I don't know that I want to do this anymore, or you're a 25-year-old that just bought your first shop, you should be thinking about your exit strategy, because that's what this is kind of all about is, you know, how do I've worked really hard in this industry my entire life. I'm getting to the end of my career. Hopefully I've got a few more years left in me. And, you know, I want to leave the industry in a great place. And I want to leave my team, my company, my employees in a great place, and my clients in a great place. And so that's the Institute. You know, there are coaching companies, I think, that the way that I look at coaching companies, I kind of rate them as a coaching company that it's kind of like a high school education. So a lot of shop owners come into this industry and they don't know much. You know, I know how to work, I know how to fix cars. And now I'm going to be a shop owner, and it's a different skill set you need to learn. So there are coaching companies that can take you through a high school education, get you into 12th grade and get you graduated, and get you up to where you're making 10%, 12% net, and you have a company that you work hard in, and that's fine. And then there are coaching companies, I would say, that can take you up 2 more levels, which I would call maybe a junior college, you know, basic bachelor's kind of degree. And then there are coaching companies that are a master's degree in how to run a shop. And I always look at the Institute as a master's degree program on how to run a successful automotive service and repair business. And I don't know that you have to necessarily, like, I think there's kind of 2 philosophies in running shops. One is I've got to discount, I've got to do coupons, I need to do something to attract the general public, and some businesses run that way. And then I think the other philosophy is if I really have a outstanding product and a really great customer service that I don't need the discount. It's funny, even today I was reading something by one of the other coaching companies, and I won't mention names, but they're doing a great job. They're growing businesses really well, but they're also they feel like they have to do discounts and coupons in order to keep their base full. And I just never had to do that. And while I think marketing is super important today, and having a really good marketing plan, understanding who my customer is, building a business that matches that customer with achievable, right? What does my customer want? What's the type of person I want to do business with want? From me, the client, or excuse me, the provider. I think if I do that well, and I understand what that is, then I can use companies like Shop Marketing Pros to get my name out there, and I don't have to discount or give away what I do. I also think it's interesting. I think that discount kind of mentality also is kind of don't hit the customer with everything the car needs. In fact, so I was just reading that yesterday, and I think I was reading it. And I was like, well, of course, you know, you never hit the customer upside the head with a hammer because they don't recover from that. But if I've built a good relationship with that customer, even if it's a first-time customer, and they understand what I'm here for and why I'm doing what I'm doing, and they also understand that it's their decision to take care of their car, and my job is really more informational. Here's what you need, why you need that, and here's what you should probably do now, and here's some things that if you want to, you can probably do down the road. I think if I have a good relationship, that I can tell them everything about their car. And I kind of recently I've had a medical issue. You know, for those that don't know, I had a brain tumor and I had it removed. It's a miracle. And I'm all great. And 3 months later, here I am. You know, but I've had to go through multiple doctors as part of it. And frankly, my brain surgeon, well, he might be a great brain surgeon, is really horrible with customer service, and so is his business. And it's terrible. And which makes it even harder to say, okay, go ahead and do what you have to do.
Yeah.
But my ear, nose, and throat guy, the guy that opened me up so the brain surgeon could get in there, is amazing. And whatever he told me, I'd be like, okay, let's go. Right? And it's just two different people. One that has the customer service skills to build the relationship and to get the trust, and the other one, while they're really smart and great at what they do, if you read my brain surgeon's reviews, they're threes. There's his average is like 3.2, and it's not about the surgery. It's never about the surgery. It's all about the customer service.
Yeah.
And I think that as coaches, sometimes we use stuff to try to push our ideas or to try to sway someone to our mentality. And I when I was reading this thing yesterday about, I can't remember what it was, the kitchen sink. Don't throw the kitchen sink at them. And I'm reading this and I'm thinking, well, of course you don't. If they need a kitchen sink, then you probably should be talking about the kitchen sink, but not before you build a relationship, right? Because if you tell them things before you build a relationship, they'll never do what you want to do. And when we talk about sales is everything about the relationship. It's almost nothing about the product. I mean, when I'm teaching, I don't know, at STS, I don't know, 400 people, and all of those shops come fix my car. Every single one. And most of them would probably do a pretty good job. They use either the World part or the dealer part or the Napa part or, a good quality part that they can stand behind. And what's the real difference? It's all about the relationship. And Kim, I know you too. In what you do, you guys are growing dramatically, and you've got great relationships with your clients. And you're not perfect. Neither am I. Neither are we at the Institute. But we have great relationships because that's what's most important, right? And that's what when people are gonna listen to us or make a decision or decide, what Cecil talked about is something I ought to do. It's going to be more based on how they feel about me or how they feel about what they heard or the relationship with the company than anything else.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Ramble.
No, I love listening to your ramblings. I always learn from you, no matter what environment we're in. So I was just like, keep going. I think it's awesome. And you actually, I want to back up a little bit because you touched on something that I was going to ask much later on, but I love that you brought it up without me even having to mention it. Brian and I went to a conference a couple of years ago that we were really excited about. It was a specialty sort of audience, if you will, in the automotive industry, and the vibe was so sad and depressing because you know how y'all at maybe at your summit you do the sponsor like speed dating thing. This event did something similar, and so Brian and I are sitting at our table, and we always have people that come up and want to talk to us, and we love talking to people, but nobody came up during that. Like, it's like they just skipped us, and we were like, what is going on? And kind of we're getting a little like self-conscious, like what do we not know? Why are people not talking to us? And then we started having conversations after that section of the event was over, And all these shop owners, multiple shop owners were saying to us, I don't need marketing. I'm about to close my doors and walk away. And so we started asking, like, there were so many of them that it was like almost like a theme in the event. And so we started asking, well, how long have you been in business? What do you mean you're closing the doors? Like, why aren't you selling? Why aren't you passing it down? Why aren't you, like, there are other plans for exiting? And these were shops that have a legacy, like they've been in business for multiple generations, 50 years. They've been an incredibly important figure in the community. They're running a great business and literally gave us dates like, no, on October 1st, I'm shutting the door and walking away. And we were like, no, don't do that. And so for you to come in here and start talking about that, I love that your shop clients have you as a resource. So can you just talk a little bit more about what you're doing with regards to coaching these shops on exit plans? What are some of the exit plans? Because some of them, when we brought it up to them, they were like, well, I never even thought about that. And I'm like, what do you mean? So talk a little bit more about that.
There's so many opportunities right now. And I want to step back a step. There's a confluence right now. If you look back to 2008, 2009, there were a lot of 65-year-olds who basically were ready to sell their jobs. But all of a sudden, the housing fell apart. There was no money. So they decided to hold on. Right? And so they said, okay, I won't retire now. I'll retire 5 years from now, 6 years from now, 7 years from now, whatever. And so there was a backlog that was building of owners who were getting aged out. And then all of a sudden 2020 hits. And now the government is saying, well, here's $150,000, here's $70,000, right? And you can get a loan for 3% where you virtually don't have to pay any of it off other than the interest, right? And so now we have these guys that are in their late 60s, early 70s who decided to hold on for another 3 or 4 years. And now we've got guys that are in their late 60s and late 70s who are they're at the end of their road. And their business hasn't necessarily done well. I mean, there are 6 or 8 things that you look at when you decide what that business is worth. So part of what we do, I do for courts even, as well as clients, is when there's a divorce or there's 2 partners, they're suing each other, I'll get involved and I'm valuing the business. Plus, a lot of my clients are buying businesses right now, so they're like, what is this thing worth? Right? And there are 6 or 8 things that are really important. You know, is it growing? Does it make at least 12 to 13% net profit continuously? Has it for the last 3 to 4 years? Does the owner work in the business as I'm the tech or the service advisor, or I'm a key person? And if there are pluses and minuses that you would look at and you would say, okay, well, this business, even though it's making $200,000 a year in net profit, it made $300,000 2 years ago, and the owner's involved, and they don't have a good staff, and they don't have systems and processes, and I can't even get a decent lease on the building. It has no value. Okay? Even though it's profitable, it has almost no value. So you would take a company from maybe a 3X or a 4X. It's worth 600, 800,000 plus assets down to it's worth 150,000. And now you've got owners who have worked themselves almost to death. who are just basically saying, I don't have anything left,
Mm-hmm.
and it isn't worth much. So rather than even deal with the BS, I'm just closing the doors.
Yep.
And we're seeing that. Plus, I've seen shops that couldn't get a tag. I mean, there's a shop in San Francisco, downtown San Francisco, beautiful location. You can't get one there. 8 bays, and he lost his tax, and he couldn't find a tag. Couldn't a tracking went into San Francisco, couldn't pay enough, didn't charge enough, whatever it was. So, what I feel so strongly about all this. I brought in Michael Smith to my company, who's a M&A mergers and acquisitions guy. And what we do for our clients is we're like, okay, what's your out plan? Is it 3 years from now? Is it 1 year from now? Is it 30 years? And what do you want that to be? Because if you have time, then almost anything is possible. And obviously we don't know what's going to happen 30 years from now. Maybe the Star Trek, a transportation device gets invented, and we all step into a box, and we end up wherever else we're supposed to be seconds later, back together, maybe with a little more hair, or whatever. But if the automotive industry exists in whatever way it exists, and someone's fixing machinery, computers, AI, self-flying, self-driving cars, whatever they're going to be, then I think that the sky's the limit with time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you're short, like Lou probably wouldn't mind me talking about Lou Morantz. Lou is I don't know how old Lou is. Probably got to be late 60s. And his son is working in the business, but he's got some challenges. And Lou wants the business to continue, so his son has a job. But Lou's getting to a point where Lou is, he's old like me, and he really hasn't set the business up perfectly. And so now we need to sit down with Lou and go, okay, Lou, what do we need to do so that your business continues? And there are lots of ways to do that. I mean, we're even talking about becoming a management company for guys like Lou that don't want to close, don't want to sell, but want someone to come in and manage so that the business continues. And so there's I can sell it to an employee, I can close it, I can sell it to an investor, private equity, or what's the other one, venture capital. I can build multiple shops, which we have got a lot of our clients doing now, buying shops. We have groups that meet where we might have an older person who's going to sell their shop, and we might have a young person as a part of that group who wants to buy shops.
Yep.
And it creates maybe another X for the seller, and the buyer gets a well-run shop. I think one of the things that's different today than maybe 15 years ago. 15 years ago, we had private equity just starting to come in, and they'd buy anything. I mean, if it had bays and grease on the floor, they'd buy it. Today, they've gotten a lot smarter. They were looking for businesses that are better run, that are more profitable, where they have staff and systems and processes and things like that. And so if you look at a guy who's, let's say, in his mid to late 60s, and he's saying, man, I could probably hold on for another 2 to 3 years, he's probably not going to go out and buy 15 shops and grow that. But he could run his shop, get the processes well developed, make sure that the shop is profitable, and have something that he could maybe sell for a 5X instead of a 2X, or just close. And so maybe he gets $1 million, maybe he gets $1.5 million instead of getting 200,000 or nothing, right? And then if you have time, if you're saying, okay, I want to build 20, and we're going to do X million dollars in net profit. Now we've got the opportunity to have a private equity come in and pay. I've seen 12x.
Oh
Okay.
my gosh.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I think the largest group we have right now at the Institute is, I think, 57 or 58 shops. Got a lot of guys with 10 or 12, 7,
Mm-hmm.
many with 3 or 4, and I've got a lot of guys with 2 that want to have 57. And then we just have shop owners that just want to run a good shop and have a good business. I've helped lots of different people over the years. I could talk about, husband died, wife didn't know much about the business, son young. What do we do, Cecil? Oh, let me help you. They now have 3 shops and they're trying to grow to 7. We taught the son how to run the business. I would think if you're a shop owner who's going to sell your business in the next 3 years, what you really want to do is teach whoever's going to buy your business how to run a very successful, profitable business so you can get paid. And so that even if you're going to carry it, so that you can get paid, right? And I think it's also a lot about legacy today. That there's a lot of, I mean, when I found out I had a brain tumor and didn't know what was going to happen, obviously you think the worst, you always think, you don't think the best. And what if I died and if I didn't make it through? And what's the legacy? What is the institute? What's the brand? Is my son Kent, who is fantastic and super smart, and all of that, is he going to be able to run the company? Do we have the right structure so that the company exists and continues to do great things in the industry? And so we can do, I don't know, I had a guy call me yesterday and I talked to him, and I don't normally do that, but he got through to me, and he said, Cecil, I'm making like 23%. I don't need money, but I need to learn how to run a business so that I don't make all the decisions, and so that I don't have to be here every minute of the day. And I'm like, oh, yeah, we can do that, right? Sometimes it's we're broke, and I need to figure out how to be profitable tomorrow, and we can do that. And sometimes it's like we need to teach the kids how to do this. We've got some clients in Idaho, got 2 boys that kind of worked for a company but didn't want anything to do with it. And they brought them to one of our leadership intensives. And the 2 boys now see a path in the industry for themselves. And now the boys are like, oh, we want to learn as much about this as we can because we want to grow this and make it a legacy business. As opposed to, I'm going to work for dad who, whatever's going to happen is going to happen.
Yeah.
So the Institute can do any of it. And one of the things I've tried to do, I started this in, I want to say 2005. It was Cecil and my skill set, but I brought a lot of different people in who have, frankly, in certain areas, much better skill set than I do. And I did that on purpose because, Kent is, you want someone that understands processes and sees things in a really, 1, 2, 3, 4 manner. That's Kent. You want somebody that's super intelligent, that understands how to build 25 shops and get the management and the legacy in place. That's Mike. And if you want someone to help you run your business and be exceptionally successful and give you just unbelievably great advice, that's Kevin. And Fred, and I'll forget Aaron and Jennifer, and these wonderful people that have these great skill sets that really add to the overall what can we do at the Institute. And I don't regret anything. But I can tell you that when I started this 20 years ago, I was a younger, more arrogant, more pushy individual, and I think there's still people out there that go, well, it's just Cecil, and that's that. And it couldn't be further from the truth today. Yeah.
Well,
I hope
mean,
that's like another 25-minute ramble. So there you go.
yeah, no, I get it. I've been witness to that. I feel like you're like my automotive dad. We just have had lots of great conversations, our big brother, whatever. And I've seen the transition, but I think that's just human nature. Like even me in my younger 20s, I was the most shy, the most quiet. People would think introverted, and I'm the complete opposite of that now. So I think just life experiences bring out different parts of us, and we learn and grow and evolve. So I love that you shared that part of it, but also no matter, like who's listening right now, we know from tracking the stats that lots of people listen into this over the course of the week, and we'll come in later. So I just want to mention to those people, even though it's not live, you can still leave a comment. We're tracking that and we will answer you. But the thing is, no matter who is listening, whether they're a new shop owner or the 70-year-old who's exhausted and ready to roll out of here, it's never too early to start thinking about the exit plan and planning for that and putting things in place so that when the time comes, you have those options. It's very hard to get to that point. And like you were saying, there's 6 to 8 important kind of metrics to look at to develop your valuation of your shop. But then there are different numbers that you're tracking on a day-to-day basis before you get to that point. And so there's the first things first kind of mentality. So what are some of, and everybody has a different, like these are the main numbers to track, but when you have shop owners come in who they're doing all right, but they really, like you said, they're more of the technician. They're more of the, I came in from the path of having been the wrench turner, and now I run the shop. I own the shop. What are the numbers that you have? Like, this is the top main numbers. These are the most important you need to get a handle on first, because there's tons of metrics to look at. But what would you say are the most impactful ones?
Well, I think the easiest is parts margin. So we have a new client. I was looking at the P&L yesterday that one of Kent's, and they have a 9% parts margin, 9%. And that should be 58. And so they're not making money, and they're losing money. It's a pretty simple adjustment. And they might not get to 58. Excuse me, I'm getting over a cold I caught at Tools. But if they could get to 48 from 9, this guy's going to do just a little over $1 million in sales. And instead of making, $45,000 on his parts total gross profit, he should be making, 250, 300,000. And that's a pretty simple fix. Obviously, labor rates and sales overcome your fixed expenses enough. How am I paying my technicians? It's really about parts margin and labor margin. And parts margin to me is very simple. You put a matrix in place, follow the matrix, and that's that. And if you don't know what a matrix is and you're listening to this, go to our YouTube channel and look at the parts margin stuff. There's so many, 20-minute, 1 hour, how to do that classes. Labor margins are much more complicated because it depends on how you pay, what you pay, how productive your people are, how you charge, how you schedule. There's so many different things. But the only thing I have is my profit on my parts or my labor. So if I'm not making enough money, then one of those has to be fixed, right? Or at least parts margin simple, labor more complex, but raise your labor rate $10 an hour, and if you're selling 200 hours a month, that's $2,000 in additional profit. It's pretty simple. And
That's like the low hanging
and
fruit, right?
I'm sorry, go ahead.
It's like the low hanging fruit. I remember for us when we had our shop, that was something that we learned from your classes, and we were like, oh, it's our parts margin. When we fixed that, just that one thing, it made a big difference for us.
Yeah, I would tell you that the average shop's probably losing between $40,000 and $120,000 in their parts. And profit that would go to the bottom line, that would pay bills or be able to put it in the bank, or be able to fix the roof with. And again, that's the kind of the easy fix, in my opinion. And obviously I want to sell enough. I want to have a goal. I know that if I have a technician today, the tech probably ought to produce somewhere between 400 and 500,000 in sales out of one of my bays. And so if we said 450, but I've got 3 techs and I'm doing 700,000, we're about 500,000 short, right? And so if our productivity's low, then our margins will be low on our labor, and we'll struggle to pay the bills. And so I was going to ask you a question, because I think this is really important. Somebody asked me, I think it was Lucas the other day, he said, what's the biggest mistake you think shop owners make? And I said they don't understand their business financially, right? What makes me profitable, what doesn't. So if you watch the bar rescue guy, he'll go in and go, how much is your cost for alcohol? And they don't even know per drink. Or the restaurant rescue guy, he'll go and say, how much is this steak and potatoes? What does it cost you to make it? And they don't know, right? And that's the same. What did it cost you to do that 1 hour of parts and labor on that car? And then what do you have to sell it for so that you have the profit you need? And so the question I want to ask is this. Because, talking to Carm is saying all the time, every shop needs a coach. And I agree with you 100%, but then again, I'm prejudiced. Of all the shops that you deal with, are the ones that have coaches doing the best, profitably, and otherwise, or are they not?
Without a doubt, shops who have a coach are doing better. Now there are shops who have a coach, but they're not involved, they're not engaged, they're not
10%, 15% never listen, won't. They'll invest money, but they won't do what you need.
Yep.
We have one of our foundational principles here is we have to make a difference. So if you work with us and you won't do what we're talking about, you won't be working with us.
Same
yeah, I can't take your money and honestly feel good about it if you're not doing what we've talked about and moving forward. But everywhere I go, whether it's me, the coach, or my company, the coach, or I don't know, AIM or whoever else coaching them, it's the shops that have some form of coaching that the majority of those shops are doing very well in the marketplace. And then there's the guys that sit back and go, I don't need a coach, I can do this myself. And those are usually the guys that are struggling. I'm not saying all, because whenever you generalize, it's a bad idea. But the majority of those people are not doing anywhere near what they could or should do. And if we don't grow up, and I mean as an industry, and become more aware of how profitable we should be, we need to be the kind of liability we have as companies for what we do, etc., then we're in trouble as an industry.
In a lot of these Facebook groups, sometimes I just saw, I think it was yesterday, in one of the groups, somebody posted, here we are in June, how's your shop doing halfway through the year? And it was funny to me that a good number of people are like killing it. They're saying, in every area of my shop, I am far ahead of where I was last year. And then there's quite a few who are like, oh, this year sucks, and they're blaming it on the president, and this happened, and I'm down in this area, and I'm down in this area. Now, I don't know everyone, but the ones that I did know, the ones who were saying we're doing great this year, have a coach. The ones that were not, didn't. And I think that, you know, being involved in this industry, stepping outside of the Facebook groups, getting into coaching, taking classes, going to the industry events is so important, because there's that whole I don't know what I don't know aspect. And it's you don't know it until you get into the environment where you're willing to listen and learn and take something back. So, you know, I think that we've hit the nail on the head in this conversation. And again, that's why we're doing this coaching Q&A every month, bringing in someone different, because I do believe that there have been multiple occasions where a shop owner had a coach who brought them from here to here in a beautiful way and really helped them make lots of improvements, but then they stagnate. They just hit a plateau, but for whatever reason, be it they love the coach, they love the group they're in, what they were afraid to leave and move on to something else that's going to feed them. And so I think it's really important for people to really, Brian and I are in a peer group as well. We do the same thing in the agency world, right? So we're in an agency peer group. And while we want to give and help others, we also want to learn and grow ourselves. So I think there's got to be a little bit of, you're giving your experience to people, but you're also learning from them. So
I think that the people that have coaches and the people that move forward and don't make excuses. I always say I'm going to write a book that entitled Cecil, You Don't Understand, because you talk to somebody and they're struggling and they're like, but you don't understand, Cecil. Here in insert city here, the customers are different than anywhere else in the United States. And when you look at hundreds of shops monthly, and you look at the data, and you see that there's a bell curve. Everything's a bell curve. All data is a bell curve. And there's always the 15% or so that are going to excel no matter what. They can't help themselves. They're nervous, they're pushing the envelope, they're fighting, they're struggling every minute of every day because mom dropped them on their head when they were a kid or whatever, right? And then there's the bottom 10%. And the bottom 10% is always going to be there, and they're always going to blame somebody else for their problem. The tariffs. I'm you know what the tariffs have done in my life? Nothing. Not a thing. Haven't affected it at all. Okay, so maybe I paid a little more for a cheeseburger last week, or toilet paper, or maybe I had to switch brands of deodorant or whatever. I don't know. But primarily not a thing. But there were people, and there are people right now in their business that the minute that Trump said tariff, they all panicked, and they knew it was going to be horrible, and they knew it was going to kill their business. And I'll tell you what, the universe listens to you. And we create our situation based on our belief. And if you believe that the tariffs are going to hurt you, they're going to hurt you. And by the way, they might still hurt you. I don't know, right? But I can't live my life afraid of a tariff. I have to live my life based on today and what's happening today. And I have to make adjustments and not excuses, right? And I think in some ways, a coach is one of the people who's going to say, stop kidding yourself. Stop using that as an excuse and go do this. You guys do it with your marketing. You're like, you know how many times I've heard, well, we're going to do some, I got a couple of guys. And every month I'm having a conversation. Well, we don't have enough car count. Well, how are you answering the phone? Right? Well, I'm going to take your class on answering the phone, but they never do. Right? And they listen to their phone answering skills, and they're horrible. Or they go, I'm going to do some social media. And then 2 weeks later, I'm having a conversation. How the social media ads go? I haven't done them yet. And 6 months later, they haven't done anything. Well, if you're not doing anything, you can't make a mistake, but you also can't win. You know, you have to make some mistakes in order to win. And in marketing, especially, I'm going to try stuff that doesn't work. If I'm not trying something kind of routinely, I'm going to fall backwards. And I don't want to fall backwards. We adjust our marketing almost weekly here. You'll see things from us and you'll go, wow, that's really different from the Institute. God, I hope so. Right?
Yep.
That's the point. Right? And but it's that bell curve. It's that. And then there's also that 60%, 65, 70% right in the middle that are really happy. They're making 12, 13%. They could be making 25, but they're fine. And they like what they're doing, and they have a great life, and that's fine. But man, the other thing for me is stop worrying about all the things in the world that you can't control and start working on the things you can control, like your parts margin and your customer relationship and how you answer the phone and how the customer feels when they get off the phone with you, or how your shop looks when someone drives up or walks in. Things that you can control.
Yeah. So we only have a few minutes left, and I want to see how we can maybe blend two conversations into one. And it's coming from Brian and I were just on an epic vacation we've been dreaming about for years and always just assumed that's not for us. It's going to be way too expensive. We can't do that. And ultimately investigated and realized we can do it. So we just took a 10-day trip down to the British Virgin Islands with 3 other couples. And we went in together and shared the cost of chartering a catamaran and island hopping. Right? Nice. Amazing. And when we all went in together and shared the cost, we paid less for this trip than the cruise we took at Christmas with Peyton. But here's the thing. 2 days before we left, I had to fire someone. And so we started the process for hiring. And while I was gone, my team pretty much finished it. I did nothing. And then while I was gone, during the time that I was gone, one of our team members who was having some health issues, unfortunately, had to resign. So while I was gone, someone resigned. My team picked up the hiring process, hired someone before I got back. And I found out about it halfway through the process happening. And so what I'm getting at is processes, but also a company culture and leadership that has empowered a team. And I'm not trying to brag. I'm just really, I was not really shocked, but just really proud of our team for picking up the ball and running with it. But there's something to be said about processes, leadership, and shop culture that allows all of these gears to operate together. What does coaching at the Institute look like when it comes to helping shops realize they know they don't have processes documented, but just to get them to actually do it, and then instilling that shop culture and the leadership? Like, I know that's a big question. It's 3 topics in one, but just what do you have to say about those things?
So I think, first of all, you said something super important, and that's team. And so without a team, nothing happens. And so when you come to the Institute, if you don't have a mission statement, if you don't have foundational principles, how do you write processes? How do you get a team to write the processes? And I think most owners of shops are sitting there going, I know I need processes, but I can't write them, and man, I'm too busy working on cars. And you need to build a team, and then identify processes, and the team will do the work. And today it's so much easier than it was, say, 15 years ago to create those processes. And by the way, whoever they hired may or may not work out ultimately, but they did the job. They knew how to do it. They knew what to do. They took care of it while you weren't there. And you have somebody in that spot who has the opportunity to become a great team member for Shop Marketing Pros, right? Because you built the team, you built the foundation. And unfortunately, so many small business owners, and they're so overwhelmed by the day-to-day, gotta get the car fixed, gotta answer the phone, that they don't take any time at all to do some of the foundational stuff and build the team. But when you get the foundational stuff in play and you get the team behind you, then your potential is unlimited. Okay. When it's you trying to do everything the way that you do it because you're the best at doing it, then your potential is extremely limited. And so what's it look like at the Institute? Well, first of all, what do you want? Because this should be about you, right? It's your company. And what would make you the most happy? And by the way, what we talk about in our first meeting might be different in our 15th. Right? Because priorities change. I'm sure that, 3 years ago, if I asked you, Kim, what's most important for Shop Marketing Pros, and today, if I asked you, those two answers would be completely different, right? And it took you time to stop trying to do it all yourself and start handing some of that off. But when you were able to hand it off, and then you see the way I look at my job today at the Institute is to make sure everyone else in my company wins, right? That I want them to be successful. And so what I want to do is support everybody else in my company. And that may not me teaching another class. It may not be me working with another client one-on-one. It may be me only helping all of my people to be the best that they can be. And what is it? It's different for every shop. I mean, ultimately, it's got to be about you. But I got to tell you, based on my experience, if you don't have the foundational principles down and the culture that you need, all you're going to do is fight, struggle. And I took over a shop that was very poorly run, and I had to be a manager, I had to hire, I had to fire, I had to run the front counter and sell, $1 million in sales. The first year the company was going bankrupt. And so I spent a lot of time at the counter, but I also carved out some time for hiring and training, etc. And I worked more than 50 hours a week. A year and a half later, I was only there 2 to 3 days a week. And I spent that's when I started coaching, was because I didn't have to be at the shop. Because people knew their job. We had the processes. We had good customers. We had good marketing. We knew how to answer the phones. We had that process for that, right? And I think ultimately it has to be about you. What do you want? And if you're really happy to be the person that makes all the decisions, always be the smartest guy in the room, always be the guy that's never going to make a mistake, then don't hire the Institute. But if you want to build a team of people that can run a very successful automotive business and build generational wealth, foundational excellence, then the Institute is the place that can help you get that done.
Yeah. That's good stuff, Cecil. I could keep talking to you for a long time, but
We can do it again another time
we
too.
can. I'm sure we will. But listen, thank you so much. I really appreciate you taking the time to spend with us and our clients who this will populate in our client only Facebook group, but it's unlisted, and we have a link that goes out to our clients on our YouTube channel. And so people watch this all throughout. And so again, if any of you have any questions, pop them into the comments and I'll reach back out to Cecil, get an answer, get it back to you. But yeah, so thanks again. Where are you going next? What's your next?
I'm in Phoenix in July, in late June.
Oh, for the sunrise,
Swap.
which I think is
Yeah, that's sunrise. Southwest sunrise,
Yeah.
Western automotive, whatever. So
Caroline and Haley will be there for that. So Caroline, Haley lives in Phoenix, so it was super easy for her. And Caroline is headed to stay with her, and so they're gonna have a good time. So you'll see them, and then I don't think Brian and I are going. I think our next thing is maybe ASTA, honestly. So
yeah,
we've
I
got-
think. Well, there's nothing in August I know of. We have another leadership intensive. Sometime I think September is our big marketing conference we're doing. You guys
we'll be there.
and then it's going to be ASTA, I think. And then Apex or SEMA.
Brian will be there. I'm not going to that, but Brian will be there. And then maybe Super Saturday. I'm not sure. Waiting to hear from that. But at any rate, it's always good to see you at all of these different events. And we'll definitely see you at Mars for sure. We love coming up there for that. We also have a bunch of West Point stuff happening with Peyton. And then we have an agency peer group thing that we're going to in Yellowstone, actually. So we'll be up there.
Beautiful.
In the Northwest. But thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Tell everybody where to find y'all, where to get connected. They probably know, but I want them to know anyway.
We are the Institute.com. That's us.
Easy to remember.
Yeah.
Easy to remember. All right, everybody. Thanks so much.
Thank
Bye.
you.